What's on YouTube? It's PTT. Welcome back to another Destiny 2 video. Today guys, we are talking about this week's Nightfall, which is the inverted Spire. This is actually going to be a guide on how to complete it and a few things I really think you should know about and a few tips to help you along the way. But before we jump into it guys, I want to let you know that I am still doing the weekly giveaway for some silver. All you need to do is drop a like on the video and leave me a comment in the section down below. You know, something about the video, something about how you're finding Destiny 2, anything, and then come next Tuesday when the weekly reset is here, I shall pick a winner and message you accordingly. But all that aside, let's just jump straight into it. As I said before, the weekly Nightfall this week is the inverted Spire. So, you know, even straight off the bat, it's a lot easier than last week's Nightfall, which was the arms dealer. Obviously, there are two sets of modifiers in the weekly Nightfall. We have the same as last week's Nightfall. So we have Prism, your attacks matching the focused elemental damage increase damage. All other elemental damage is reduced. Kinetic and incoming damage is unaffected. The focused element rotates periodically. Like I said, this is the same as last week. So basically, guys, you know, when it comes up on screen that it is the solar damage type, use solar weapons for maximum damage. If you don't have a solar weapon, use kinetic energy weapons. If it comes up to voids, use void or kinetic, and if it comes up on arc, use arc and not kinetic. Again, it's really simple. Just make sure to keep an eye above your super bar when you see it come up. You know, call it out to the team and make sure you're using the correct weapons, and you shouldn't struggle too much. The difference with this week's Nightfall compared to last week's, if you remember last week's, or you did last week's Nightfall, then you will know that the way you extended your timer in last week's Nightfall was to actually kill enemies. So if you killed low level enemies, then you got like 2 seconds. If you killed, you know, stronger enemies, you would get like 7 seconds back on the time. And this was kind of crucial to getting up to the last boss and completing the Nightfall with more than 5 minutes remaining on your time if you were going for the Rat King quest. This week, however, it is a little bit different. This week we have time warp rings as a modifier, and it says Vex gates have appeared in the area. Pass through them to discharge temporal energy and extend the mission timer. Basically, guys, you will see as you're going through the strike, you will see various amounts of rings in different areas. The first one you will come to will be like when you hit the, you know, the first respawn area. You will see half a dozen of them in there. Each one of these you jump through will actually give you 30 seconds back on your timer. So, like I said, there's a fair few in that first room when it becomes restricted. From there, you have to wait until you get outside and drop, you know, you do all the dropping down before you go through the teleportals. That area there is where the next lot of rings come up. So obviously there's a few more there. I think we actually managed to get our timer back up to about 12 minutes in this section because I just focused on jumping through the rings. And that's the thing with this Nightfall, like, it is exceptionally easy. Like, several times, we didn't go in to try and do the Rat King quest because we all did it last week. We went in to just chill and get the Nightfall done. Without really even trying, we finished our Nightfall with about 7 minutes remaining on the timer, which, yeah, is pretty good. It means if you're going for the Rat King quest and you couldn't get it done last week, you should get it done this week an awful lot easier. Now, I will leave a link in the description down below, guys, and I will probably put it in the annotations at the end of the video. But with last week's Nightfall, you were able to cheese the boss very, very easily with a team setup that allowed you to do maximum damage when it swapped to arc energy. Now, you could use a similar method in this Nightfall. In fact, we actually used the same method as far as weapons go. So go and watch that video and it talks through, you know, what player should run what elemental type to maximize your fire team's damage. And then when we got to the last boss and we were doing him, obviously the difference this week is it is a 3-phase boss. He drops down through the different floors. I myself had Merciless this time rather than my Solid Rocket Launcher in last week's Nightfall. So I was able to do an awful lot of damage very quickly to him, making us drop down to the second level very quickly in the strike itself. When we were down there, you know, the next round again, I put a few shots with the Merciless on him. We used some normal weapons. You know, we swapped out to various other energy weapons as the elements cycled, got him down to the next one. And then when he dropped onto the third and final floor, we did exactly what we did last week. You know, you wait for it to pop up as arc, and then you just pop your arc supers and blitz him. You know, but you do want to wait to use your supers until you get to the very last level, because if you say you use them on the top level to make him disappear, the likelihood is you're only going to use about 10% of your super before he disappears, and then you're going to waste, you know, the other 90% of it. So definitely, you know, if you want to use the cheesy method from last week to get the kill easily and quickly at the end on the boss, then yeah, make sure you save your supers until you hit the final floor. Another thing worth noting as well, guys, in the second area, or like the second boss phase where he drops down from the first floor to the second one and he sets the floor on fire, you got to be really careful in this area. We noticed that it's quite conveniently placed that it turns to solar damage when you're in this area, and of course solar damage and a solar floor means that you're going to die rather quickly when you get set on fire, as you will see as the gameplay plays out in a minute. But yeah, that's it, guys. You know, if you play through it working as a team and using the correct element and jumping through the rings to give yourself the timer as best as possible, you shouldn't really struggle on this week's Nightfall. Like I said, we flew through it rather easily. I don't foresee any major problems for, well, any fire team that can at least communicate as a team. You know, if you're going for the rat quest, you might need to try a little bit. But like I said, we didn't really try. You know, it's not like, right, we need to go and we have to do this and we have to do that and, oh crap, we've got to use this weapon and that weapon. We kind of just, you know, flowed through it quite well and got it done. So I definitely recommend doing the back quest this week if you haven't got it already. Again, you know, a link will be in the video description if you need to know how to do that quest. Links will be in the description to the cheese method from last week's Nightfall that kind of still works to a point in this Nightfall. But yeah, there you have it, guys. That is this week's Nightfall. Rather simple, very easy to do this week. I thoroughly enjoyed it. Actually, I think might be the first Nightfall I try and do solo later on if I have the time. But obviously with the raid and things dropping out, it might be the week after. But yeah, there we go. That is the video for now, guys. As always, if you found it helpful, drop a thumbs up, subscribe to the channel if you are new. Again, don't forget to drop a like and comment down below for a chance to win yourself some silver. But for now, guys, I'm going to let the footage play out so you can see the entire strike from start to finish. And yeah, I've been TTT. Thank you very much for watching, and until the next one, I'll catch you all soon.
Guardian down. I think they want their drill back. I hope this is safe. Cabal don't need to stick the landing. We do. Guardian down. Switching guns. Guardian down. Guardian down.
Cabal scientists can take a punch, but they're not very smart. I guess they rocked open the planet and that mind came crawling out.
Golden Age computer core, and that's all she came up with? I could have said that.